with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Good Saturday morning out there to everybody, and welcome to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. And we hope you're having a sunny sunshine Saturday coming up. It's like it's going to be pretty weather out there. That microphone not having such a sunny Saturday morning so far this morning, so I think it's a little bit tired. But anyway, we're gonna fight through it. Glad to have everybody join us out here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. 2 hours. I promise you, we're not gonna lack for anything to discuss today, and a lot that went on last night in the world of high school football. And of course, that's where we always start our program. Randy, another good one for us last night. Here in Alexander City is the Wildcats get a big convincing win over Smith Station. They started off the game down 7-0, but it had 33 unanswered points to go to the locker room and kind of took control of the game. But I tipped my hat to Smith Station. They came out, really put a lot of pressure on the team, and scored 21 points there in the second half, and cut it to 19, and then eventually cut it to 18. Which ended up being the difference, but in the game. But that they could have just withered away, and they did not. They fought back, and but the Wildcats were able to kind of assume control again about midway through the third quarter, and then cruise to an easy victory. So Wildcats improved to 4-1 on the season. That's the important thing. They'll be back in region play next Friday with Chilton County, but. Lots of improvement, as you saw, and our offensive line, I thought, did an outstanding job. And when they do that, when you can run the football like we did last night, and you can pass protect the way they did, and give Gabe Benton, who is unbelievable back there with time to survey that field, man, he's got 5 to 6 targets at any moment that he can deliver the football to.
Yeah, I've said it a number of times on the broadcast. This is as athletic a group as we've ever put on the field, top to bottom. Now, we've had some tremendous athletes and one or two here and there that could match up really with anyone in the state of Alabama. But this year, the explosion that we have, if you do give him a little bit of time to find somebody down the field, it could be a huge play. And we saw that last night. We had a 78-yard touchdown reception, a 61-yard touchdown reception, and a 93-yard touchdown reception last night by 3 different receivers. And not often do you hear that. Also had a 70-yard touchdown run by Malcolm Simmons to go along with that 93-yard touchdown reception. So overall, it was a good night. I thought we took it to them pretty good there in the midway through the first quarter and into the second quarter, and I thought that was something to see. This is a Smith Station squad that week in and week out plays against some of the top talent in the state over in the region that they're in. They were able a few weeks ago to defeat an opponent. I don't know the last time they beat Prattville, but they beat them a couple of weeks ago.
And Prattville since then has been on a tear. I mean,
they have
2 big wins in a row for them, and they had another one last night. So you knew what you were getting. I mean, you knew you had a team that could score points and were capable of beating anybody.
Our radar was up, though, wasn't it?
It was.
After that game, you go, ooh, I'm telling you, Smith Station may have something. Athlete for athlete, they normally put that out on the field.
Right.
But a good win again last night, moved to 4-1. I was proud of the kids. 378 yards passing for Gabe Benton last night, 5 touchdowns. If my math is correct, that's now 16 touchdown passes to only 2 INTs, probably averaging 270 yards a game passing. We've never seen stats like that around here, not on a consistent basis. So he's going to obliterate every passing record we've had here at Benjamin Russell. We've seen some big-time plays. That was now 3 100-yard rushing nights for Malcolm Simmons on the season, and a lot of those coming in big chunks of yardage. And he had 3 touchdowns last night to go along with 228 yards of total offense. So overall, it was a very good night offensively.
Yards per carry for Malcolm Simmons really is probably where you're going to be astonished, because he gets a lot of big runs, but he's not a back for all those out there that haven't watched Benjamin Russell. He's not a running back that gets 15 carries a game. I mean, he gets sometimes as few as 4 or 5 carries in a game, depending on the way the game's played. But the beauty of this offense and being offensive coordinator is, man, you just have so many options over there to go to. And like you said, all types of different guys scored last night. You're not just singling in on one guy that's having to make all the plays. You can spread it around. Makes it almost impossible. When your line's blocking the way they did last night, makes it impossible. Then you didn't even talk about Gabe Benton being a weapon with his legs on that first touchdown drive for the Wildcats. He was able to, and it was 3rd and long. I think it was 3rd and 17, and he was able to step up in the pocket. They rushed. We had a bunch of guys running downfield, so they'd run their guys downfield with them, and it just opened up, and he was able to take off and run for first down. He gives you that option too, so they're so multiple and really cause a lot of problems. And look, was glad to see that they had pushed that game last week into the closet and moved forward and performed the way they did last night.
Well, we'll go through the scores here coming up, but that Homewood loss does not look bad. We know any loss that you have to Homewood on the road is not a bad one, but they give Pinson Valley all that they want last night, losing the game 21-13. But still kind of tells you where Homewood stacks up in Class 6A, because Pinson Valley a few weeks before had played Clay Chalkville, who we thought had separated themselves from 6A to a 2-point game. So there's some parity here, and I think that's going to work its way out. As the playoffs start, Darian Morgan, there's a name that we'll say a lot more in the coming years, only a freshman, 6'4", 6'5", 180-plus pounds, had a 78-yard touchdown reception. That's his first varsity touchdown as a Wildcat. So, like I said, the first of many. I could see him being a big-time tight end prospect. He just has the frame that I think he could hold 220, 230 pounds. I don't know how tall he's going to end up being, but let's just say at 6'6", 6'7", he could look like those freaks that Georgia throw out there every Saturday, who that number 0 that Georgia throws out there. There's not a tight end that's played anywhere in the country that looks any better than him at any point in time in my life, and that's not even talking about Bowers. So, the tight end position has become such a lucrative spot in the NFL when you've got that type of frame, and you saw his athleticism running away from the secondary last night. So I think there's a lot more of that to come.
Yeah, I was reading down your stat sheet on Facebook that you posted out. Do a really good job every week of giving the kids accolades. And Newt McKinney, I know it's hard not to leave somebody off it because you're ripping off that. Newt McKinney scored a touchdown, had another really big reception. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, good Lord. I mean, you're listing 4 or 5 guys that had tremendous games, and then you look over and this kid had a pretty good game, and it kind of gets lost in the mix because of some other guys. But that's the thing, and I talked to these coaches yesterday, and we were talking before the game, and it's like, Coach Krager said and Coach Grider said that, one thing about this offense is defenses have a hard time if they want to come up and take the run away. Now you're not, defended well in the backside with all these receivers. And if you want to drop everybody back, we'll just run the football on you. Makes it really tough. And the multiple weapons. You can't just go out there and double team one guy. And, David Lawson got in the mix last night, and he shows you that, on any other team, he may be the number one guy, number one target. But if they do decide to take 1 or 2 guys away, there's 3 more that you got to worry about.
Last night, probably the highlight reel play of the game was Chris Foster had about a 50-yard in and out, probably ran 200 yards to get the 50, and we had a block in the back that caused it to come back. Sorry about that. That caused it to come back, and, that block in the back really wasn't a part of the play that was going to fault Chris from making that big play that he did. But, that's another 50 yards. And then we had I say a stop and go, a hitch and go on the short side of the field to McKinney that would have been about a 75-yard touchdown reception. So you add that 100 yards potentially to Gabe Benton's night last night.
And then a pass to Corey Milner that was just overthrown in the corner down there. They could have had another 150 yards.
Yeah, and could have had well over 500 yards of passing. Ends up with 378 and 5 touchdowns. Still take it.
Oh, no, man, no kidding. We'll take that. I think anybody would any given Friday night. But a big win there for the Wildcats as they improved to 4-1 and sit in a really good position. Chilton County coming in next Friday for homecoming, and then you look down and you're coming down the home stretch. Then you got Pelham, and then you got the 3 remaining games against Helena and Briarwood, and then of course you end with Valley. So that's the schedule. I mean, it goes by in a blur. So you'll be talking about Super 7 here in about 10 weeks. Seriously.
Be here before we know it. I think this year, from a parity standpoint, in Class 7A, Thompson defeats Clay Chalkville last night, and that was a good one. But, you know, you looked and you saw Hoover get a big win over Mountain Brook, 24-14 last night. Kind of tells you how good this Hoover team could be, especially defensively. It's year in and year out. So I don't have anyone that I would circle to say that they're going to win a state championship in any of these classifications, and that's fun going in, Brett.
No doubt. That's where you want it, especially us. You know, we don't care. We just want good football when we get to the Super 7. Up against our first break of the show. Again, we're just getting started. You can call us 256-234-6221 or comment away on Facebook Live. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
In a word, it's chaos.
You'll have to see it to believe it. Whoever said that must have been talking about Talladega. It's a place where chaos mixes with speed, where a town turns into a city, and a weekend becomes a lifetime of memories. It's a tradition like no other.
What a wild finish.
At a track like no other. And after it's all over, you still don't believe it ever happened. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
The heat is on, and nowhere gives you more than KiaofAuburn.com. First, we give you more for your trade-in. Just scan the code to find out how much. Next, the all-new Kia Sportage is here, and you'll be ready for anything. Then, at KiaofAuburn.com, KiaOfAuburn.com, you can custom order your new Kia just the way you want. Want more? Check out our selection of certified pre-owned Kias with 165-point inspection, complete protection plans, and so much more. Selection, price, trade-in value. You always get it all at Kia of Auburn. Kia of Auburn, where you're always number one.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Again, I want to thank Sunshine Heating and Air and JR's for all they do for our program. Got some comments coming in. We'll get to these scores here in just a minute. Kyle said, I think they have a legit shot to win state in both major sports. Talking about Benjamin Russell.
Well, I definitely think this is the best basketball squad we're going to throw out there in my lifetime. And you just don't know about 6A. The very odd thing about sitting where we are, and, I'm going to keep saying it, hoping everybody hears me. We're 8 students from 5A. 606 is what we turn in, and the number's 598. I think from an athleticism standpoint, I'm not making excuses, but that is what it is. I mean, you're matching up with squads that's got 11 and 1,200 students in the top 3, and you got 606. Does that mean that athletically you can't? No, but a lot of times depth ends up becoming an issue whenever you're playing against a Clay Chalkville and it showed up a little bit against Homewood, who's got about 1,000 students in the top 3. And again, I think we can play with any of them.
That's the only
depth. Well, and it's usually when you're as athletic as we are, it's depth on the lines of scrimmage. And that is where we've seen it in years past. Now, you throw us down in 5A, which we're 8 students from right now, I mean, watch out.
Well, here's my analysis of that. You're not going – look how long Benjamin Russell's had football, and you and I can't remember in our time here on earth that they've had this many athletes on one team together that are this dynamic. So you're not going to get this every year. And this isn't going to roll through all the time. It just happens to be you get waves, and then when you do, but when you're in a class where you're more numbers, where your numbers are more, I guess similar to the other teams around your area, then you're going to be able to you don't have to have that level of athlete to be able to compete year in and year out. Now this year in 6A and even in 7A, the ones we run out on the field starting 11 on offense compete against anybody. But, again, like you said, on a consistent basis, you're not going to be able to run that out there every single year. So.
And shouldn't have to. If you're knocking up on the door of being right there on the edge, those things tend to be figured out at other programs. And I'm not saying that how that happens, but, look, it works out. And it works out for a lot of them. So we'll see. But, we are and we always have been. But it's definitely right on the edge right now. When you're at 8 students in 3 grades, less than 3 students a grade from being in a different classification. And it's not just these 2 major sports. Every other sport. I mean, you are fighting a total uphill battle every time you go out there to compete. And so, again, I don't want to make an excuse. I'm just saying that the community that we live in is a lot different than the one you and I grew up in.
Right.
But it doesn't change the fact that we produce athletes that match up with everybody in the state.
There's not a program in the state that doesn't want to be the biggest team or biggest school in their classification. Nobody's out there saying, hey, we'd love to be the last team in size in our classification. That means if you're 2A to 5A to 7A, it doesn't matter. You want to be the largest because that means you have an advantage numbers-wise. All right, let's got some more comments coming in. Mario said, great call on the game last night, guys. Wildcat Pride, I'm excited for our program. I love it, man. Again, when a lot of people have stayed the course and have always pulled for Benjamin Russell, and will always pull for Benjamin Russell like to do any of their schools out there that you went to. And it's always fun when your school's doing well. I mean, that's in any sport. So good to see our program back on top. Matthew said, I saw Ty Williams got 2 offers from Central Florida, Penn State. Shout out to him. Yeah, I mean, look, when good things happen, your team, and we knew this team had so many good skill position players and so many good athletes on this team Now you're going to start getting scouts coming to look at one or two, and then all of a sudden they see other guys. And then we've seen Corey Milner make a change from wide receiver, which he still plays, but the defensive back, which, like you said last night, is a no-brainer out there at cornerback with his physicality, his length, and his ability. I mean, he is a legit shutdown corner. Every time the ball went to his side of the field, he was either breaking it up or making an interception. That acrobatic interception he made last night, the receiver gave up on the pass. He goes after it and dives and catches it. He's a difference maker there.
Reminds me a lot of Dre Kirkpatrick. You and I called an Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game the very first year that we took over the HSA radio network. And I remember going to a dinner the night before and seeing Dre Kirkpatrick and going, my gosh, man, what are they feeding these 17, 18-year-olds? And he was a legit 6'3", 6'4", playing corner. I listed last night, and I took a picture of Corey, and I listed that I think that he has the potential to be SEC pro caliber back there at corner.
Right.
And it's his length. And I listed him at 6'2", but a lot of times you get listed at 6'2", you're really 6 foot. I listed Corey at 6'2" because I'm not sure he's not 6'3" or 6'4".
Right.
When I see him, I know he's a whole lot taller than you and I are that are bumping up at 6 foot tall. He's a legit, probably closing in on 6'3", and he's long and lengthy, and he's not going to have an issue with his weight, and he already runs a laser time that that teams want. So, when I watch him play, I think that he can make a whole lot of money playing on that side of the ball right now.
Oh, he sure can. I think his future's bright, and I think he's embraced it. Coming in, he knew last year this is a guy that had 1,000 yards in receiving in only 10 games. Comes back this year, is the main target on offense, no doubt about it. Gets off to a rocket start in the first couple of games. Now Coach Grider and the defensive staff, Coach Simmons, they decide to start working him in on the defensive side of the ball, and his role over there has increased. And you're seeing more of him on the defensive side of the ball than you are the offensive side. And like you said during the broadcast, the physical nature of him, he embraces that side of the ball and really kind of thrives. And, he's a guy that has a little bit of an edge about him that he likes to be challenged. So on when you're on an island by yourself in man coverage, a lot of times he loves that challenge. So he's man, that is a great find. I'm not saying that we didn't know he wasn't good, but like you said on the broadcast, sometimes you're like, why did it take so long to figure that out? Well, I mean, it's good that you found it out. Now you got him the rest of the year to play over there on the defensive side. So Matthew says, okay, read that comment. If you got some more comments coming in, give us or you can give us a call, 256-234-6221. Randy, let's go ahead and start running down scores from last night because we want to get to all of them.
Well, a couple of 7A scores as we only have a few minutes here, but I'll start with one. Central Phoenix City was taking on IMG and had a 17-0 lead early on in that game, but IMG comes back. I think they score 26 there in the first half, and IMG ends up winning the football game 41-26, but it tells you what type of athletes that Phoenix City has, and they're dynamic, but, that's an all-star team that they're playing. So any of our schools that lose to IMG Academy, I almost don't even want to count them towards their record.
They tip you hat for reaching out and playing them.
Yeah, sure. And we've had a lot of them play them and had Auburn play them extremely well last year. But
Hoover's played them multiple times. I mean, yeah.
How they talk any of these schools into it's beyond me, though.
Well, I think for some of these programs, and this is
going to have a lot of your prospects seen playing in a game like that.
I think Phoenix City and Auburn and Thompson and Hoover and those level programs in a non-region game, a non-region weekend, why not? How you say, look, man, we got great players. We may not have as many as they do, but IMG's a national brand, and if they are willing to come to our place and play, why not? We have nothing to lose. That's the attitude they take.
I thought this was a unique matchup last night and was interested to see how Auburn would play against Ramsey. This is a good Ramsey football team.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that score when I saw it.
42-21, Auburn defeats Ramsey, but I think Ramsey's right there in the mix in Class 5A. I really feel like from a personnel standpoint and the way that they've played and the way that they've won over the last 10 years.
Pleasant Grove and Ramsey in 5A. Have been remarkable program. Pleasant Grove's still a good football team, but Ramsey knocked them off a couple of weeks ago. You better watch out for them. But I was impressed with that score when I saw it. They held their own.
Finish up a couple of scores in 7A before we take a break. Great win for Hoover last night over Mountain Brook, 26-14. Prattville, I don't know. Prattville woke up a few weeks ago and decided they're going to play good football, I guess. They take it to Stanhope 49-10 last night, and one that we'll probably talk a little bit more about here in the first hour was Thompson defeating Clay Chalkville 17-14.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about that. I do want to say one more thing about Prattville. I heard their play-by-play guy on the scoreboard show last night, and he talked about those two close losses to Dothan and then that close loss to Smith Station, both region games. So here they are. They lose two region games. They come back. They beat Opelika, Stanhope out of region. But this team really playing great football, and he looked ahead. Even if they win, I think 2 or 3 more region games, they can miss the playoffs because of losing. Because that's not just a 17 region. I think there's 9 teams in that region. So, you know, you falter early sometimes, and it can cost you. But he's talking about what a shame it'll be if that team doesn't make the playoffs. Could end up with like maybe a 6-4, 7-3 type record and not make the playoffs.
Used to happen even worse than that. When we had area play, you had 4 teams and only 2 made it. You'd have 8 and 2 teams not make it. Right. And so, you lose football games. It has consequences that come with it. I'd hate to see it for Prattville too, but
it happens.
I'd have to go back and watch that game, see how they lost to Smith Station.
Yeah, I did. I think I can't remember the score, so I think
30-23.
Okay, yeah, 30-23. So touchdown. Hey, look, at different parts of the year, you get better. Sometimes you get worse. Smith Station was able to get a big win a couple of weeks ago. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly Show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 Preview Show, and Reclassification Reveal Show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. September 15th, 7 p.m., the Gouge Performing Arts Center at Auburn University. Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. Buy tickets at the box office or visit GougeCenterTickets.auburn.edu. The new album, Georgia Blue, out now.
Looking for an attorney you can trust for your real estate closings? Wisdom Law Firm at Lake Martin has you covered. Your real estate transactions are fast, convenient, and professional every step of the way. Wisdom Law is certified and licensed by the American Land and Title Association and approved by all local lenders. Visit Wisdom Law Firm at 6366 Highway 49 in Dadeville or at their Auburn location at 2353 Bent Creek Road. No communication concerning a lawyer's legal services shall be published or broadcast unless it contains the following language, which shall be clearly legible or audible as the case may be. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine Heating and Air, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. We've had comments coming in already this morning. You can go over to our Facebook page and you can comment throughout the show. And you're not limited over there, so you can interact throughout the whole program. Let's keep running down scores.
Got through a lot of those Class 7A scores. I do know Opelika lost to Theodore last night. 34-24.
Well, yeah, let me tell you, Theodore's good, man.
I know they are.
Yeah, they're the real deal.
Yeah, and I think Opelika had a 10-point lead early in that game, but Theodore.
That's 2 losses in a row now for Opelika.
That's a tough schedule, my friend.
Boy, that is like
Phoenix City and then Prattville and then now Theodore. And
yeah, there's no rest for the weary over
no,
there.
there's not. Class 6A, we talked about Benjamin Russell defeating Smith Station 46-28. Briarwood all over Oak Mountain last night, 34-14. Is Briarwood turning the corner a little bit, or
I think
is this Oak Mountain squad?
I think they won one game.
So. Yeah, 34-14 last night. Carver Montgomery defeats Lee Montgomery 27-21. It was Chilton County over Tallahassee in overtime. 24-21. Been a struggle offensively for Tallahassee.
And that's 3 really close losses for Tallahassee in a row.
Just can't string points together.
Yeah, I know.
I think they're pretty good defensively.
Yeah,
it seems
overtime loss there. I mean, that's frustrating when you lose 2 and 3 point games week in and week out, and you're right there, and so everything is so important. You make a few mistakes in a game like that when you're struggling to score.
Here's a score that's a head scratcher for those of us that are high school football fans in the state. My gosh, Hartselle 69, Oxford 21.
Oxford's in a great region, man. They're in Clay Chalkville and Pinson Valley's region, and
69 points given up by an Oxford squad.
They go into a non-region game against, and just get obliterated. So it had to be interesting to see. That is not common at all to see Oxford give up almost 70.
Not in 6A.
No.
Oxford's one of the largest 6A schools in the state. It's a growing community, beautiful facilities. I think they're building on. Have won a state championship in the last few years. Just very odd to look down and see them giving up almost 70 points to anybody, especially a 6A squad. Now, if you told me one of those Thompson teams over the last couple of years scored 69 on Oxford, I'd go, okay, I get it. But, not a squad that matches up with them enrollment-wise. Muscle Shoals defeats James Clemens 38-10. It was Pelham defeating Chelsea 35-28. Good game up in the Birmingham region. Pinson Valley defeats Homewood 21-13. Saraland down south, one of the top teams in the state, Brett, defeats Foley 49-21 last
week
night.
You look at those scores, man, and they just don't seem to have any issue with anybody. They're going to be a tough out.
I think Wetumpka's got a good squad. I think they're going to be a team that you don't want to match up with in the playoffs. Wetumpka defeats Greenville last night 42-21. Moving down into Class 5A here in the local area, Central Clay defeats Alexandria 21-7. This is not as dynamic a Central Clay team as we've seen in years past, but, man, they just are winning football games, scores like this. They're now off to a 4-2 start to the season. One of their losses to us, Benjamin Russell, who's a classification ahead of them. And it's just a good football. I think that they're going to be a team you're going to look up, and they're going to be 7-3, 8-2 at the end of the year. And you're not going to want to play them in Class 5A in the playoffs if they get everything rolling at the right time.
And they've got a tough schedule. We had Coach Horn on right before the season started. They got to end with that Wetumpka team. So they've got a tough schedule, and they're navigating it pretty well right now. They're 4-2, and they're sitting where they need to be in their region, and definitely in their region they're they're the favorite in my opinion. So they just keep plugging, like you said, every week they find a way to win by a couple touchdowns.
Elmore County here in the local area, another big win last night over St. Clair County, 35-13. 0-10 last year.
Right.
4-1.
I think they're 4-1 now.
And they're long lost to Central Clay.
That's right.
They may be 4-2.
Well, I'll pull it.
Whatever it is, a lot better than it was.
Well, I mean, good Lord. I mean, yeah. There's 4 more than they had last year. So but if they had one, it'd be 1 more than they had last year. That Kyle's done a great job.
Eufaula defeats Pell City last night, 54-35. It was Faith Academy over St. Paul's, 34-7. Gulf Shores, another win, 35-14 over Murphy. Leeds all over Sylacauga last night, 51-7. You know, at times, unfortunately, we've had these little moments here in Ellick City where you'll have a squad and it just doesn't match up for you from an athleticism standpoint. And right now, poor Sylacauga is going through a situation you and I have been in.
And they just graduated a great quarterback, an unbelievable running back that they had for 2 or 3 years, and they were winning 7, 8, 9 games a year. And, you know, you graduate those guys. This is what I talked about last segment. You know, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs. You're not always going to have a star running back, 2 or 3 great receivers, and a stud quarterback back there. You're going to have ups and downs, and right now it seems like Sylacauga's just in one of those troughs. So,
good win for Valley last night, 27-24 over Russell County. Go ahead. You want to get that phone call?
Let's get to the phone lines and take this call. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Brad, happy Saturday. It's David. What's up, man?
Hey, David. What's up, brother?
Hey, first of all, I wanted to give Coach Grider and his staff credit for that bounce back last night because that was a tough loss last week. I know you guys were a little worried last night from an athlete standpoint for Smith Station, so that was a tremendous bounce back for them for sure. And,
no doubt.
I traveled down to Notasulga last night, totally overmatched Notasulga team. I don't think they had any yards passing, and they had negative yards rushing. Coach McDonald had his JV in the second quarter. 45-0 at the half, and they ran a running clock in the second half. But I've been very skeptical because I saw a lot of good football, down on the Gulf Coast between Mobile and Baldwin County. But I don't know if I'm going to go as far as Kyle did on his comment, but I just feel like if Benjamin Russell and Dave will both catch some favorable matchups early in the playoffs, that they could do some collateral damage down the line in the playoffs this year in football, for sure.
I totally agree, and we're going to get to Davil here in a little bit. David, I know you went to that game, but and I know coaches hate to hear people in the media say this, but I'll look down their schedule. I think they're going to go 10-0 unless they have a misstep somewhere and they just play terrible. I think it's going to take them playing bad and somebody playing really good to have a chance to beat them. But this Davil team's got a chance to go 10-0 and like you said, make a deep run in the playoffs.
But it's a blessing that they got into a different, region this year for sure. That has helped. But those kids are so strong, Brett. I mean, for 3A, their lines on both sides of the ball just do a phenomenal job. They don't have near as many weapons as Benjamin Russell does, but they've got enough, And so I'm going to head to Auburn here in about 25 minutes, a little breakfast at Byron Smokehouse, and then on over to the game today and just pray for a solid effort. And I want to see a little fire out of a head coach today and a little emotion.
Well, I hope you have a good day. The weather at least will be good. I'm sure that's probably the extent of where that'll end, unfortunately. But I'm not sure you're going to see much fire out of Brian Harsin. We haven't seen it since he arrived on campus, and I'd be shocked if we saw it for some reason coming out of the deep blue sky today. So we'll hopefully you'll have a good day, though. Maybe the Tigers will pull it out, the right Tigers.
Well, that text, that stat that you read off yesterday on the show is just mind-boggling about the recruiting. I've tried to give them benefit of the doubt, but I can't get over that. That's just unacceptable. And man, so we'll just hope for the best. But you guys have a great rest of the show, and War Eagle.
Hey, David, thank you, buddy. War Eagle to you. Have a good weekend. Talk to you next week.
See you Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye. David jumping in with me now on Lake Martin Sports Roundup, doing a good job. And David's able to get out. He loves high school football. He coached for a long, long time. He's in this area now. We're glad to have him part of our team, and he's able to go out and watch different teams on Friday night, and he loves that, goes to different communities. So glad to have David part of our team. We're up against a break, Randy. We'll come back. We'll continue to run down scores from throughout the state of Alabama. Stay tuned. More Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Hey, honey, it's Mom. Just wanted to call and check in, see how everything's going. You'll probably say not to worry. Everything is great. But we miss you. I'll call you back later.
Mom, tell me everything. Everything's great. I love it here.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We were in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Sunshine, heating, and air. A couple comments. Glenn said Mr. Hyde played a good game last night for
Yeah, he did.
Russell. Yep.
Thought he played his best game of the year. I thought he played really well against Central Clay also, but he's very active on special teams.
Almost had an interception.
Almost had an interception. Looked like he had a little pep in his step last night, and I thought he was one of our best football players at the end of the year last year. And the last 4 or 5 games, he was as good as anybody we had out there. And he's had a good start to this season, but I thought last night was his best. And if he can keep that up, that's going to help this squad. Because Brian Simmons on the other side, we just say that every week. It's become repetitive that I'm going to bring up how many big-time plays he makes. And, he's just
I watched him
shot out of a cannon.
Fall camp. I started noticing when I was going to practice. I said, "And who is that guy making play?" And it was Brian. And and he just has embraced. Again, teams really excel. And I remember Coach Grider talking to the team the very first pregame meal of the season. And he said, "Once we start pulling for our teammates as much as we pull for ourselves individually, then we're going to have something here. And every player on that team, and you can see with the moving guys around from offense to defense and back to offense or wherever they are needed for that particular week, that this team has the chemistry to play together to do whatever they want to do this year. And Brian Simmons has embraced his role as being a pass rush specialist. You know, he's not on the field all the time, but, man, in big-time passing downs, you know he's coming, and they know he's coming, and he still gets back there.
Yeah, I think that both of those young men, we talked about that. They were the two that we kind of spotlighted on the defensive side of the ball last night. What a win for Anniston this week. Anniston defeats Piedmont on Thursday night, 30-28. Anniston had a big lead.
30-12.
Yeah, Piedmont comes back, has a chance late. Jack Hayes breaks the touchdown record here in the state of Alabama. I think it's 190 some odd total touchdowns now for that young man in his career. Brett, that is a wild stat to reel off. He's got about 104. I'm sorry, I'm off a little, but it's somewhere between 140 and 150 passing touchdowns and another 40 to 50 rushing touchdowns. And but what a win for Anniston. Anniston's off to an undefeated start.
Well, they're a top program, and they got Hanley next week. So it's going to tell a lot about both of those teams. But Anniston went to Piedmont, and that's the first time they've played Piedmont since the 40s. And
didn't know that.
Yes, first time they played Piedmont since the 40s, and they've won every single matchup they've ever played with Piedmont. So they went to the Field of Champions. That's what Piedmont Stadium's called, and rightfully so. And another little fact, again, watching Coach Smith over there for Piedmont and watch every single offensive play, and you notice this, Jack Smith runs over to the sideline to get the play. Jake Hayes. He runs back and forth. And then Piedmont, as long as we've been covering them, when they make it to the Super 7, they've never signaled a play in. Their quarterback runs from huddle to sideline, back to huddle, every single offensive play, just like in the old days. And, I mean, add up how much more yardage your quarterback runs in a game. I mean, seriously.
Good point.
We were talking about that in a state championship game when Piedmont won one a couple of years ago, and the dadgum quarterback had run his tongue out just going from the sideline to the huddle. So it's amazing. But they've got a great program up there. Fought back, almost beat Anniston. That was a difference in classification. But Anniston, man, proud for those kids. They got some D1 prospects. They got offensive linemen that's going to play for the University of Alabama. So, they got the players.
Yeah, they get them there. They get athletes there. Good win for Hanley last night. You just brought them up. They defeat Lynette 37-0. Jacksonville all over Ohatchee 35-6. Maybe the team that has separated themselves from the rest of any classification at this point in time in the season is Montgomery Catholic. Montgomery Catholic 56-0 over Pike Liberal Arts last night. Aniana's always there late in the season. You'll see them making a deep run.
They were runner-up last year.
They defeat Springville 53-22, closing out Class 4A. A couple of other teams of interest. West Blockton defeats Holtville last night 26-7.
Yeah, a couple more comments. Chris said, listening while headed down to the Chuck in Montgomery. Go Hawks, going to watch Huntington. Good luck to our guys down there. And Stephen, proud father there, too, of a player. Chris and Stephen, both. Stephen said, sitting at the Chuck now listening in on the show. Way to go, BR. Let's go Hawks. Landon Cotney, Ty Brown, both playing, along with a couple other guys here. From
Denzel Green.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Najee Brooks.
Najee Brooks on that team. And
I think all four of them are starters. And, Landon's going to end up holding every record that Huntington ever had, and rushing and throwing the football, Brett. There's nothing for – I told my brother-in-law is his uncle, and so I talked to Mike about Landon a lot. And I said, Mike, you do realize it's not normal. Like when you say, how did Landon play last night? He's okay. He threw for like 358 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's not playing against mincemeat out there. He's just throwing big-time stat lines out there. He was the conference player of the year last year.
We knew in high school what his potential was, and as he came through, and now it's coming to fruition. And he's getting what he needs in college, and he's blossomed and matured, and he's a true leader down there, and his play is reflection of that. So always fun to have a check-in from those guys as they head down to watch their kids play some college football at Huntington, who's got a really, really good program in Montgomery.
One of the top coaches that
Coach
we've had. You know, he's just consistent. He's always winning. Anyone that goes and plays for him there seems to leave thinking maybe more of him than when they started with him. And look, in today's world of coaching changes and instability and, you know, promising kids something and not following through with it, there's something to be said for someone that's had the tenure of Coach Turk over there at Huntington and have always had a winning program from as long back as I can remember.
From when he started it.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's just the way it is. Mario said, I'm watching Montgomery Catholic close. My little cousin is improving every week as a freshman out there blocking Cobb back there in the backfield.
Well, that's a good family of athletes coming from Mario, and so many of them. So I don't know what size he's going to end up, Mario, but if he plays like the rest of y'all, and he's already starting as a freshman, and he's on a good squad that's going to have a lot of eyeballs on him over the next few years.
Yeah, and he's blocking for the best running back in the state right now. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Hey, everybody, this is Brett Pritchard, voice of your Benjamin Russell Wildcats. It's that time of year again, time for the 2022 football season. Join us each week for TV replays here on WAXC TV3 for Benjamin Russell Wildcat football. Wildcat football is brought to you by these fine sponsors.
The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us at Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Scott said more traffic than I expected on the way to Auburn. They may just be going to get a
You had an over-under today.
I did at 75,000.
They'll list it.
You can't go by the number listed.
So you can't. I mean, what are you going to guess?
I told Andy, yeah. We are, because your eyeballs are going to be able to look at the
Are
upper
you
deck.
going?
No. I mean, when did you mistake my tone of voice of me getting in the car after this show and driving down to Auburn to watch that? So the answer is no on that. But Scott said that there's a lot more on the road going down. But I told Andy yesterday, I said, when you get in the stadium, don't listen to what they announce, because they're going to say this morning's attendance 86,000. All right, that's what paid. Okay, that's how many tickets they sold, which is great. But you look in the upper decks. What do the upper decks hold? 10, 15,000 apiece.
Yeah. There won't be many up there.
Half at that best. Okay, let's take half of that. So 87,000. You take 10 away, you're already at 77. I mean, you think there's going to be full seats all in the lower
What do
bowl?
you win if you're right?
Nothing. Just,
that you were
bragging
correct.
rights, I guess. So
Dave's got a good ball club. Dave defeats Notasulga 45-0 last night. I think all 45 of those scored in the first half. Athlete for athlete in Class 3A, Dave got a chance.
Dave's putting that squad. Look, I told you, I saw him a few weeks ago. And you and I don't have an opportunity to go watch other games on Friday because, obviously, of where we are. But I watched those kids come through in a college fair, and I went,
Yeah, when you tell me that, most of the time you're always right.
Right. I said, man, they got players that anybody would want. And so they've compiled a good team down there. And Roger McDonald, I mean, he's got it going. And like David said, it's not a cut on anybody else, but they got a favorable region reclassification in this last deal. And they're playing a bunch of teams they never played before. But, they're going out. They just beat Walter Welborn on the road. That's a tough team to go beat. They beat Sachs earlier, who's got a good football program. They're good, man.
Well, I was about to give a Sachs score from last night. I mean, Sachs defeats a very good B.B. Comer team 28-0 last night.
Wow.
So does that tell you a little bit more about where Dable is?
Yes, it does, because Dable beat Sachs pretty good.
Couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's pretty good.
I agree.
When you go up against a program that usually has good history to them, and you win by 14 or 17, you've done a really good day's work. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch Dable. Hey, look, Elmore County's 4-1, by the way. I went back and looked that up, and they're just a good football team. And Kyle Caldwell came in there. We had him on the show before the season started. They didn't even have their helmets in.
I think they still don't, unless the picture that I saw that was up last night is an old one. I mean, they had like a blue helmet running up and down the field last night.
What?
Now, it could have been an old picture, but, hey, look.
You just got to go get helmets where you can get them.
Brett, I live in this world. I live in the equipment and apparel and, man, things are – whatever was before COVID is not how businesses run anymore. They just run them as poorly as you could possibly run one, most of them. We've got wholesalers that never screwed up because they'd lose our business. It screw up 2 or 3 times a week now. So, Kyle, I'm sorry if y'all do have all new helmets in. You may have a player that just fell in love with the one that he had on his head and decided to keep it there.
Whatever they're doing is working. How about that?
Yeah, I don't care if I had a big old pink and purple helmet on if I was playing the way Elmore County is in comparison to where they've been with that program. What a win for Horseshoe Bend last night, defeating Fayetteville 48-20, second win on the season. We've talked to their coaches a good bit over the last few weeks, and I feel like that program's. I watched their game against Laverne.
It was a very close game, and they made a play in that game where they recovered a fumble and returned it for a touchdown, which would have given them the lead late in the game, and it got called back. And there was no sound on the NFHS broadcast, so I don't know really what the call ended up being. But anyway, made them come back. They did recover the fumble, but they put it back at like their own 10, and they weren't able to drive down and score. But they've had some really good efforts this year.
Well, I'm impressed physically how they play. I mean, they hit you. They are in spots. They're not overly dynamic yet. I think they will become there. If all things stay the course, I think they'll get to that point where they'll have some athletes that they can do some different things. Right now, they got some young kids. I think they have a freshman running back that had 5 touchdowns last
Right.
night, and he's going to be a really good player for them. But I've been impressed with Horseshoe Bend with the moments that I've watched them this year.
Some good football around here. Reeltown, Dayville, Benjamin Russell, Elmore County, Clay Central. Horseshoe Bend picking up a big win last night. It's good football.
Makes it
around here.
nice, doesn't it?
Absolutely, man. Hey, look, I'm pulling for all of them. Hope they all win. So love having winning programs here in our local area.
Coos is not winning just yet, but they've got more players out than they've had
That's
out
right.
in
That's
the
right.
last 15 years. I thought 5 years ago they were just going to go ahead and close that thing on down. I mean, it was unfortunate for those poor kids to have to go out there with 12 or 13 on a squad
Yeah, it was bad, man.
and never getting a break and
It's dangerous, really.
getting beat like 50, 60 points in the first half. And now the numbers are up. Coach
Right.
Russaw trying to build something over at Coosa, so I know it's going to be a while. I mean, you can't let it fall to where they let that thing
snap
fall.
your fingers and
But I think that there's some positive
Yeah.
momentum there.
Absolutely. Up against the top of the hour break, we come back. Hour number 2, we'll dive into college football. Hopefully have Luke Robinson on with us to discuss a little bit about Alabama. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
It's back to school time, football season, and time to get ready for the holidays. How about a brand new Chevrolet Buick or GMC with no payments till next year? New Chevy Malibus as low as $349 a month. New Buicks take $3,000 off any model. New GMC Terrains as low as $399 a month, all with no payments till 2023.
Get 0% financing, no payments till 2023 at Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee here with you. 1 hour left in the program. Let's go back to the phone lines. Welcome in our good friend James. James, welcome into the program.
Thank you, Brett. Randy, this one's for you. I told you a couple of weeks ago that Clay could beat Thompson. I was wrong, and wrong, but it could have gone that way. It was that darn close.
No,
and,
you didn't say they would. You didn't say they did beat them. You said they could beat them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say the big difference in the way Clay played Thompson than when Nix played against Hoover a few years ago, Bo Nix. They beat the stew out of Pinson Valley that year. This Clay team's for real. I mean, I said they could play that, and I'll take my lumps for being wrong, but I wasn't much wrong, but much wrong doesn't count. So there's a little bit of difference there, but I thought Clay did a good job on it, and, you know, that's all I can say. But on the game today, we need to beat Missouri. We need to beat Missouri. It can be done, and hopefully we're going to do it. Well, I ain't going to get off on the judge and all that stuff. It's just, I'm irritated pretty bad.
You and a lot of other people.
But anyway, I know you got the rich boy from Alabama holding on, so tell him I said, hey, and I'll do a good job. And I tell you, engineer up there, Brett knows what I'm talking about. About 3 days this week, I couldn't get y'all till 12:30, and that jerk from Birmingham sitting up there eating a peanut butter sandwich or whatever he's doing and chewing tobacco at the same time. You know, your engineer spends all his time calling him, telling him to reboot the damn thing where people can hear. And it made me mad as hell. I called up and told Andy and Brett yesterday. But anyway, y'all have a good day, and War Eagle.
War Eagle. James, we appreciate you, buddy, looking out for us and watching our program, and that means a lot to us. Hey, James said Clay Chalkville could beat Thompson, and guess what? They can. So he was right, technically. Didn't happen, but can they beat them? Absolutely they can. I mean, they were driving with the football down 17-14 with a chance to score and win the game. So this 6A, like you said, versus the top tier 7A, you know, usually there's a big discrepancy like that game he brought up with Hoover and Pinson Valley that year. This one, not so much.
Not so much, you know. And also, I brought up the one that Vestavia played earlier in the year against Homewood.
Now that was,
and that one got out of hand. And you know, after watching Homewood last week, I'm like, my gosh, what does Vestavia have to beat? You know, that Woods Ray led Homewood team. How did that happen?
48-0.
So it really is. You know, something to see what Clay Chalkville has continued to build. But, you know, Clay Chalkville, they've had their moments where they've been at the top classification and then they fall, and they're right there on the edge. I'll pull the numbers up. But I want to say they're right at 1,100 students in the top three. So
you got a solid point.
There's only about 100 students difference between them and the bottom of Class 7A. But it was a good game, and I think Thompson's come back to the pack maybe more than anything.
I think that's probably more than anything. So let's go back to the phone lines. Could this possibly be Luke?
Hey, guys, are you there?
Yeah, we're here. Okay. We just want to make sure it was you. We popped in. James gave us a call earlier. Don't know if you heard him. He said he was glad to give way to the rich boy from Birmingham to come on the show. So,
well, yeah, tell him I'm glad I put off that air, but I'm one of those that maybe looks like I got it all together, and in real life, most of my Legos are on the floor just like everybody else.
Hey, so true, so true. Luke, welcome in, man. Good night of high school football last night. Watched the scoreboard show with you and JJ last night, and some interesting games. I know we talked about that Clay Chalkville and Thompson game, but any other games stand out to you last night?
Really, the Thompson Clay Chalkville one is the one that really does. I mean, it wasn't the best played game. Neither team was super sharp, but I guess if you get to a good game, it doesn't really matter how you get there. Both teams were so unpolished that I think it sort of canceled each other out. And, you know, there was an interception late by the quarterback for Clay Chalkville that, I mean, just threw it right into the defender's chest. I wish that it had been one of those acrobatic catches or something like that, but it was just sort of a very anticlimactic way to end that game because Clay Chalkville had a shot. They had a really good shot. And kudos to Thompson, though, because, I mean, look, if you had told me going into that game who I thought was going to win, I clearly would have thought Clay Chalkville. they've got Clay Chalkville's got the athletes and the talent to play with any 7A team or really any team in the state of Alabama. And Thompson did what they had to do to get the win. And so I'm going to give Thompson some credit because they've also lost a few games this year that people thought, or lost a couple of games, I guess, that people thought they would have performed a little better. So I think Thompson may be finding their sea legs right at the right time. And, again, they're going to be a big problem when it comes to the playoffs. Now, Clay Chalkville is still going to be a problem because they're just going to be a problem for the foreseeable future. I mean, they had a sophomore running back who I vaguely remember from last year's championship game that I'd sort of forgotten was on the team because I'm so focused on Mario Craver and Jalen Mbakwe and some of these other guys they have that are only juniors. And that running back looked like one of the better players on the squad last night, and he's only a sophomore. So, I mean, those two programs, they just got it going on. They're going to be around for a while.
They are, and some great football in the Birmingham area right now, all the way up and down classifications, and it's going to be fun. A lot of things are determined out of that area of the state going into the Super 7, and nothing will be different this year as well. Luke, let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, we'll dive into college and get in to some Alabama talk. Alabama taking on Vanderbilt today. We'll get your thoughts on that, so just hang tight. Go ahead and take a break back there in the studio. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
I'm Chris Giddens, voice of the Devil Tigers right here on WAHC TV. Join us this year for the 102nd season of Devil Tiger football. All the way from Anniston to Beulah, with you every step of the way. Join us for television replays every week of the Devil Tigers right here on WAHC TV3. Brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seatbelts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
It's back to school time, football season, and time to get ready for the holidays. How about a brand new Chevrolet Buick or GMC with no payments till next year? New Chevy Malibus as low as $349 a month. New Buicks take $3,000 off any model. New GMC Terrains as low as $399 a month, all with no payments till 2023.
Get 0% financing, no payments till 2023 at Glenn Smith and Opelika. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Let's go back to the phone lines. Luke hanging with us there. And, Luke, let's dive into some Alabama football because Alabama takes on Vanderbilt today. I think, is it a 40? What's the point spread on this one?
40, which is
that's right.
Definitely bloated. I mean, it's bloated. All Alabama lines since the dawn of time have been bloated because I think look, everybody talks about wanting to get, the equal money. The spread is not a great indicator sometimes of where the two teams really are because it is trying to get the even amount of money and make the juice, right? But so when people put an Alabama spread out, typically, especially in these parts, the spread will be a little inflated because they know most Alabama fans are going to bet on Alabama. If you make the spread 40, 50, 60, it doesn't matter because that's just how it goes, or at least that's how it's been historically.
What happened to the rule of thumb where you don't bet on your team, or is that just an Auburn thing?
No. When you're a gambler, you throw all the rules of thumb out. Because now you might get your rule of thumb might be that your thumbs get broken, but you throw most of them out the window.
I was just about to say, but most of the time it ends up bad for the thumbs. You read my mind perfectly there. Well, let's talk about Alabama. I want to start with their offensive line because it seems like, and I've had this brought up to me by a few Alabama fans this week, that the offensive line is – for now 2 years, and I know it doesn't show in the records because Alabama lost in a national championship game last year, so you're like, man, what are you talking about? But it seems like the offensive line production hasn't been in the last year and a half what we've been used to seeing with Alabama.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's been a little lackluster. I think it's a little better this year than it was last year. You may not notice it as much because – I think last year Alabama had better receivers. So if Alabama had the two receivers from last year on this year's team that were a little more sure-handed, a little faster, et cetera, I think that nobody would be complaining as much about the line. And vice versa. If last year's team had this year's receivers, I think people would have been grumbling about the offensive line even more because those receivers can help bail you out sometimes. But in the end, I think this particular line is better than last year's. Now, one thing they're doing, they're going to let Tyler Booker come in and play a little bit more. This guy's a true freshman, got a real mean disposition, which you want in an offensive lineman usually. And he's a good player, sort of a student of the game, but he's also very, very aggressive. And you're going to see him get on the field a lot more here now. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were some other young players that eventually step up and maybe get more roles if this doesn't get cleaned up.
Luke, this Vandy program, is it getting better? I mean, or has it just been a good schedule for them here in the early part of the season?
No, I think you have to say it's gotten better. Now, I mean, the Hawaii game, look, Hawaii is, potentially the worst team in Division I football. I mean, they really could be. They're just not good. Michigan beat the brakes off of them, and they're just not very good. So throw that one out the window. But a couple of the other games that they've won, especially a game at Northern Illinois, I mean, how many Vandy teams do we know outside of a couple of James Franklin years would go into anybody else's house and win a game? Anybody. And so to go to Northern Illinois, a team that is not god-awful, and get a win, look, they've already eclipsed the over-under total for wins. It was 2.5, and Vandy already has 3. They played Wake Forest close enough. I mean, I thought Vandy had a shot to win that game because Sam Hartman was coming back from injury on that game. but they didn't win. But I thought they gave it the good college try. Now, they're going to have a problem today, and they're going to have a problem all throughout the SEC. But I think they will have at least a puncher's chance against somebody like South Carolina. I mean, I think they have a shot there. So they could get to 4, maybe 5 wins. I think 5 is certainly the ceiling. And we may see their last win. 3 may be it. But, you know, if again, going into the season, everybody thought you're hoping for 2 wins. Well, if you get 3, you outperformed what everybody thought, right? I mean, again, it's all relative. If Alabama or Auburn has 3 wins, we're not even talking about firing the coach. We're talking about how far into the sun we can fire him. So I feel like it's just all about your perspective.
Luke, this Alabama team last year had some struggles on the road against some not really top-tier SEC teams. They struggled with Texas A&M and Florida. Looking down the schedule for Alabama, I don't want to go ahead and go to Alabama and Georgia in the championship game, but other games on the schedule that already concern you?
Any game that's on the road, and I know that sort of just echoes what you said, but until Alabama puts together another dominant performance on the road, I'm going to be a little skeptical. They do go to Arkansas next week. Wouldn't shock me in the least if game day were there. That's going to be a fantastic game. I'm going to assume, even though they're a slight underdog today, that Arkansas beats Texas A&M. And let's say Arkansas is a top 9, top 18 hosting number 2 Alabama. Yeah, that should be a game day game. And I know that Arkansas's pass defense is weak. I mean, it's literally the worst in Division I. But it's still going to be a raucous atmosphere. And when's the last time game day's even been discussed in the same breath as Arkansas? So that's going to be a tough game. Going to Tennessee, there's a very good shot. Tennessee could be undefeated when Alabama rolls in. That will be tough. Tennessee might have the best offense in Division I. So, yeah, they're still going to – and Ole Miss. I mean, that is not going to be easy. LSU, they're going to be improved. I feel like of the 4, this is weird to say, of the 4 road games Alabama has left, LSU may be the easiest one. And I know there's some – that's weird to say considering, but that's the truth. I mean, those other 3 road games seem very daunting, and they all have incredible offenses to deal with.
I sound like a broken record, Luke, but more good recruiting news for Alabama this week, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean they keep getting some dudes. They got Jordan Renaud and Jalen Hale, both out of the state of Texas. Holloman Wiggins gets a lot of credit for getting those 2 dudes. Jalen Hale had come down to Alabama and Texas, and you know Alabama and Texas played recently. They played in Austin. Jalen Hale was thought to be leaning to Texas for a little bit, but in the end, I think he just looks over there and says, "Look, I want to." Let me stop myself. A lot of guys, a lot of folks that maybe don't follow recruiting much love to say, I don't understand why you'd want to go to Alabama or to Ohio State or to Georgia and sit on the bench. And that's not really what it's about. Number one, if you're a kid of that caliber, you feel like, hey, I can go in there and give it a shot. I mean, I got a good shot to go in there and play. I don't care who's over there already. And number two, as we see, take Auburn, for example. I said this the other day on Tuesday night. How much better would Owen Papo look or Tank Bigsby look if they had other 5-star and 4-star guys that were either blocking for them or being defensive linemen in front of them? I mean, how much better would those guys look? But see, when you're the best player far and away on either side of the ball, then your weaknesses also get exposed when some of your teammates can't come through. And I don't mean that as a shot at other players. I'm just saying when you're the strongest part of the chain, you still are affected by the weakest link. Think about Alabama's offense right now. What are we talking about? The offensive line, right? I mean, so Bryce Young has not had as good of a year no matter how good he is. But because Bryce Young is as good as he is, he's been able to do what he's done. I mean, think about how bad things would be for Alabama if Bryce Young weren't Bryce Young. And so same thing with Tank Bigsby. Let's think about the offensive line he's running behind. If he had 2 more very capable offensive linemen that were just second-team All-SEC, how much better would he be? And so these kids see that. They look and see who else is over there, and they don't go, hey, I can go there and get all the snaps and be a superstar. I think now they look over there and go, oh, my gosh, if I go over there, I may get killed. And I'm not – by over there, I don't mean Auburn necessarily. I mean just looking at another roster and saying, it's not the best thing in the world to be be the best player on a mediocre team, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it all comes down to recruiting and compiling players. It's all about development too, and we've seen that happen at multiple places. But when you got things rolling and you're able to build on that, we've talked about it. When you get the train going down the track, and it seems like it's building momentum, and that's what Alabama's been doing year in and year out with Nick Saban, and he just hadn't taken his foot off the gas, and you built the product that you've got. So, but good analysis there, Luke. We got to get to break, man. Appreciate you being on with us, and we'll hit you up next week.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Thanks so much. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Harold Orthodontics of Alex City has one simple mission: provide the region's most advanced diagnostic technology for you and your family's orthodontic and air passageway needs. At Harold Orthodontics, it's not just beautiful smiles, but revolutionary options for your family's orthodontic needs, as well as sleep apnea and jaw joint disorder relief. Dr. Harold and his caring staff provide the most accurate diagnosis to relieve the pain or frustration of sleep apnea and TMJ discomfort. Trust Harold Orthodontics. Call for a consultation at 256-234-6353.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price, the sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Well, we've held off long enough. 30 minutes left in the show. We'll get down to Auburn here, back on the Saturday Sports Countdown. 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. Or you can comment away. John Paul says, will Auburn show up to play some football today? We were on yesterday, me and Andy on Auburn Blitz, and I'll just kind of start here. It's a shame, and I think Andy's the one that said it. It's a shame you're 4 weeks into the season, and this is where you are already. As a fan base, expectations, the passion that Auburn fans have, and the loyalty Auburn fans have. You would expect, year in and year out, a consistent, program. And when I say consistent, we talk about it all the time. Program that's built to win, 9 games, if not 10 a year, and be competitive and have a chance to compete for the Western Division title. And, we know that Auburn can do that on any given year. But we also can have years like this where you're going into week 4 and you're like, well, what the heck, man? What do we got? We got embattled coach. You got disarray all over the place. Your recruiting sucks. And that's the only thing you can really sum it up as. If you look at the recruiting rankings, you can hear it in Jason's voice, Jason Caldwell. He's a little disgusted.
Who's always positive.
That's right. But, you go and you start digging and saying, okay, well, why aren't things the way they are? All right. So we get we didn't reveal the name of who gave it to us, but a very good source basically listed out where all the coaches have been this year. And Auburn has started off the season, and David Jones called in yesterday on the show, and he said, Brett, how many road games has Auburn had to this point? And I went, well, none, David. He said, exactly. He said, why in the world aren't every one of those assistants somewhere in the state watching a high school football game on Friday nights? So you wonder why things are the way they are. So we had this list sent to us, all the assistant coaches for Auburn, how many high school games they've been to so far since the season started. And Carnell Williams has been to like 5. Zach Etheridge.
Which pretty much every week.
That's right. Zach Etheridge 4. Jimmy Brumball 4. I think Ike Hilliard been to 2. So forth and so on. The boys from Boise, as I'm going to call it, they have a combined 1 appearance at a high school game, and that was Coach Hartson last Friday at the Stanhope Carver game because, and again, I'm not taking a shot because this kid's playing at Auburn High School, but Auburn played Robert E. Lee on Thursday, so they had to turn around and have an open on Friday, so he had an availability to go watch a high school game. Brad Beadle, Jeff Schmedding, Eric Keesaw ain't been anywhere. Okay, so what's the deal, man? I mean, you had another AL.com article come out that was mixed. It was a mixed bag. There were a couple of coaches said they thought Auburn's doing a decent job recruiting. I don't know who they are. They didn't name the coaches, but I'd like to talk more in depth about that with them. But then you had a boatload that said, we still don't really know who Brian Harsin is and his staff. Randy, they ain't left the complex. So if you want to know why you're 54th in recruiting and you only have 10 commitments.
And 13th out of 14th in the conference.
That's right.
The only team.
Missouri.
Is the team you're playing today.
So you got literally, and again, South Carolina's a bad football team too. So is Vanderbilt. There's some bad football teams. But you may have the 2 worst playing each other today at 11 o'clock. It's the reason I came up with the over-under 75,000. It's not that Auburn are fair weather fans. We're not. Well, I'll never stop pulling for Auburn, okay? That is not what we're talking about here. It's called supporting something that is a product on the field that you go, why am I going to go and spend a ton of money and time when that's all you're going to roll out there? They had opportunity. They knew that Penn State game was coming. They knew that was a game to be started. And I'm not putting this on the players. This is on coaches. That's their job, is to get you prepared and get the best players on the field. We're not throwing the ball to Landon King. Tank Bigsby only got 9 carries, so I ain't buying that it's the players, okay? Maybe we don't have as talented a roster as we've had in the past, but we got good enough talent. We talked about it for weeks, especially on the defensive side of the ball, to stay in these games. You get beat 42-12 in your house, which Jordan-Hare Stadium, even Alabama fans will tell you it's a very hard place to go in and win. It don't happen. You don't get your doors blown off in that building very much. So it's an 11 o'clock kickoff against a horrible Missouri team, which you may be the equal of, and that's the ingredients you have for a cake that nobody wants to bake. And that's why I said, look, Auburn fans are resilient. They'll show up. We'll have a good crowd there, but I don't think there'll be more than 75,000 in the stands. And I don't think that's a push, Randy.
Well, I think so much goes into today. First and foremost, if Auburn loses this football game at home, back-to-back home losses, and again, if I had something to hang my hat on, if this group had a current 5th, 6th, 7th ranked recruiting class, and we had 22 committed, and we had
feels a whole
eight or 10
right.
from the state of Alabama that we've gone up against Alabama and Georgia, and we've won the battle on. And you know, I can almost weather the storm and win 3 or 4 ball games this year and just live through it.
Absolutely.
But you know, at a certain point, you can't give a pass for the lack of talent that's being generated to come to the Plains starting next year, and you can't always say that you're going to go on the trading blocks, which is what I call it now, the transfer portal.
That can't
and go
be
and
the savior
piecemeal.
of your program.
Well, it's not the savior of the programs that you're expected to beat every year. It's not going to be. And you can go get a player or two.
That's what it's designed to do.
But when you've got to go out there and because you're recruiting, especially on the offensive front.
When you're relying on the transfer portal to fill a class,
yes,
that's when you're in a and I told you this earlier in the week, and Patrick just said it. He said, this game is giving me the 2018 Tennessee vibes. I said it on Gary Harris's show yesterday in Tuscaloosa. 2018, a horrible Tennessee team, and they won a conference game in, 2 years, rolled into Jordan-Hare Stadium. We played horrible at 11 o'clock, turned the football over. Tennessee got their first win in 2 years. Missouri smells blood. I used that same analogy in 18. I said Tennessee smells blood because Auburn's not playing well, and it's the perfect environment for them to come in and get a win. Missouri's looking down the schedule going, man, this is not a very good Auburn team. We can do some things. Their crowd won't be into it, and it's not a night game, so we got a chance to go in there if we play well and win the football game. They know this is a good chance for them to get a win.
Let's try for one last week to spin this in a positive. Okay. Robbie Ashford's the starting quarterback. He doesn't have to look over his shoulder.
Right.
Can we string together an offensive unit that takes advantage of his legs, running that option, with Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter in the backfield, maybe at times together, and run the football for upwards of 200 yards against Missouri today? And if we can do that, we can beat a team that's not very good. Maybe we can find our path towards how we're going to play the remainder of the season. I'd like for it to be physical football.
Right.
I have my doubts. Unfortunately, I have my doubts because I went back and watched that Penn State game again, and I saw how our offensive front played, and I saw our inability of keeping any pressure off of the quarterback. I mean, the poor quarterback that gets thrown back there, no matter who it is. You know, when you're getting pressured 80% of the snaps, I think it was one of the worst performances in the last 10 years.
I don't remember.
Not from a stat standpoint.
Yeah, from a stat standpoint it was, but I don't remember just coming, free 2 and 3 guys every snap. But, I think you summed it up, and you said what Jason said on the show yesterday. Jason said Auburn right now looks like a team that doesn't have an identity on offense. How many times have we said that over the last
since 2015?
That's right. So he said you would think with your strengths and it being easier on the offensive line. He said the hardest thing for an offensive line to do is pass protect and blitz and pick up coverage. One of the things you look at, the strength of this team should be Tank Bigsby and Jarquez Hunter running the football. And it's easier to run the football with the line because they're just pushing forward. They're not having to pick up protections and all that kind of stuff. So you look at it from that standpoint, that's what Auburn needs to focus on. Make it simple. Go back to the roots. This is not a very good Missouri team, so you should be able to win the line of scrimmage at home. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. We got 2 calls, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
What's up, my man?
Just gonna talk a little bit about Auburn, I guess. I think it starts at the top. I would say what the president should be on top of all this.
Yeah, Chris Roberts. Yeah, I mean he's the new guy. We talked about it yesterday. He's going to be tasked with making the decisions, some huge decisions for the future of this program. And he's got so many good things that are being said about him right now. It's all on his back right now. He's got to hire an athletic director and probably going to have to hire a new football coach here soon.
Yeah, I've heard talk of Jimmy Raines and Bobby Louder and all that, but if these fans really want to hurt Auburn, let them stay at home, watch it on TV, and not spend all that money down there. That could hurt them.
Yeah, that could. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Okay, y'all have a good one.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, go ahead.
Brett, Randy, it's Justin. How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Well, I may be a little bit behind. I was just, hearing the Auburn talk and just talking about, Harsin in the transfer portal. How many guys did we miss on this past year in the transfer portal that we think it may be a difference this year?
You bring up a really good point. I mean, I think he tried to fill gaps this year and struck out in a couple of areas there. We lost out.
A couple areas. I think he makes a good point. Who is making a splash that we got out of the transfer?
But I'm going to tell you, how many times did we go up against Vanderbilt and Kentucky and some of these other schools for players that we needed to fill holes and didn't even win those battles? I mean, we didn't even win in the transfer portal. So, and the ones that we did pick up, you're right. I mean, I don't see many, emerging on the scene that had made a huge impact. And I brought up yesterday Dylan Brooks. Where is he at? On the defensive line, you talking about 5 stars? He was a 5-star. He comes in, and like Jason said, I think he played 3 or 4 plays against Penn State. So, I don't know, man. It just seems like it's all kind of in disarray, and I think the best quote ever is, whatever's inevitable must happen immediately. And I think if things go south today, I think the inevitable will be today, and I think they'll move in another direction.
Oh, there's no doubt. I think it has to. I kind of wish we already had an AD in place to, get things moving, and, that, could all be taken care of even faster. But one other point, fans, not being fair weather fans not coming out. And, they used to say that about basketball for forever. And then you get somebody in there that inspires you and, shows you that they're trying and working hard and, is a little bit of a salesperson. Media members and people asking questions. And people show up and they support the program.
They do, Justin. I think you make a great point. I mean, I think that all Auburn fans want is, again, a consistent product where they know they're going to go out there. You may not win all of them, but you're going to be in every football game. You're going to compete to the highest level, and the other team knows on that given Saturday it's going to be a really hard deal when you line up against the Auburn Tigers. And right now we're back in one of those troughs where we don't roll out a good product, and it's because of all the disarray behind the scenes. So, Justin, I'm with you, buddy. I mean, basketball is a good measuring stick. Auburn fans are going to show up for basketball from now on because of what that program is and what Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl is going to run out a good quality product. May not win all the games, but they're going to put out a good product.
And, people saying that Auburn's done a good job and this and that. I mean, just like Andy said yesterday, pretty much every coach that has been at Auburn has experienced the highs, so you can get there. But besides that, I mean, if y'all go down this route, I wouldn't mind hearing y'all talk about possible head coaching candidates. But enjoyed the show. War Eagle guys.
Hey, brother, thank you so much, War Eagle, and we'll go ahead and take a break. We come back, quarterback situations. We'll talk about a lot of stuff here in the last couple of segments, but we'll talk about some potential head coaches. Stay tuned. More of the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com.
Brubaker,
You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER. BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours, Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wiggles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget, and with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Give us a call, 256-234-6221, if you want to be on the program. You can comment away on Facebook Live. Jerome with a optimistic 35-17 for Auburn today over. I mean, which is possible. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that this team can come out. This is not a good football team they're playing. So if they can get some things going, and I said yesterday kind of what you said just a minute ago, the silver lining to all this is that now Brian Arsenal really don't have a choice but to run Robbie Ashford out there consistently. Now, I do think we'll see Holden Garner today because it's just the way what we've been hearing out of camp. And so we'll see how that plays out. But Patrick said if they move in another direction, I look for Zach to be the guy in charge, talking about Zach Etheridge on the sideline. So we'll kind of go into that because Justin wanted us to talk about potential coaches. The interim coach will be Zach Etheridge if Brian Arson's axed today after this, if they lose to Missouri, which I do think will happen.
You do think that's going to happen?
After the game?
Oh, but you're not saying that the loss is inevitable.
No, I said if they were to lose today, then I think Brian Arson's gone. I don't think they wait around. I think they do what Nebraska did with Scott Frost. And everybody said, well, why didn't Nebraska wait till, October to, because the buyout goes down? Well, it's because they didn't want to take a chance of him winning a couple of games and then everybody going, well, now what are you going to do? If they lose to Missouri, that's rock bottom. Make a change. And you got to make a change anyway, so just move forward. Maybe then you can kind of salvage some things. But Zach Etheridge would be the guy to walk the sidelines for Auburn for the rest of the year as the head guy.
Oh, I can appreciate it. I think that he has shown an ability to coach well as get out there and recruit. And the thing about the remainder of this season, if something's not done quickly, is you're going to have to go out there and salvage a recruiting class that right now you've only got 10 commits. And these are early signing period times that we live in. And so a lot of these kids have already made their mind up on where they're going to go. And so you're going to – I don't know how you salvage a 54th ranked class, 13th in the conference, but you got to find a way to do it. And I think Zach Etheridge would at least put a plan together, and I'd be confident that he'd put the effort together to go after them too.
Speaking about another Zach before we go to our last break, Zach Calzada, going to have surgery again. Really kind of leads you to believe he never was really an option this year because he was still having trouble. Maybe that's why we didn't see him in those first couple of games. Maybe that's why he wasn't really the true number 3 quarterback on the roster. It was because of medical situations that he wasn't able to play. Not sure if he goes and he takes this medical red shirt, he'll ever play at Auburn. I mean, I think especially even if Brian Arson were to stay around, I think he makes a decision to leave and go somewhere else. So, but that's just kind of where we are with the quarterback situation. You got a guy starting today for the first time ever, and his backup's a guy that's never played in a college football game.
Never taken a snap.
So that's kind of where we are. Up against the final break of the program. Stay tuned. Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? But make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Attention! Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications for several months? You may be entitled to compensation. Call Zantac Justice now for a free legal case review. The FDA has warned that Zantac and other medications containing heartburn drug ranitidine may be contaminated with cancer-causing agent NDMA. Consult your physician prior to discontinuing any use of medication.
Please call 800-379-5986.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce, because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Last segment, real quick, Randy, just a national story. Herm Edwards fired at Arizona State, and looks like it's come out that the assistant coaches were sending the offensive playbook or the plan to the opposing team over the last few weeks to kind of help expedite him getting fired. Where have we come to in this world?
Well, first off,
I mean, seriously,
they ought to be blackballed to the point of where their name's out in the public eye and
never get another job.
Let known that they don't even coach flag football. It's bad. I mean, it is. I mean, you just have no confidence in the integrity of the game when you've got coaches willing to do that. That's being paid by a university to do a job.
Kids, this is not just about one guy at the top.
Yeah,
I mean, these are kids going out there practicing, trying to do the right thing, and you're sabotaging them.
Man, they caught him coming off the field.
They sure did, right in the end zone.
It was a tough look, wasn't it?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen today. I don't think it would, But you said it yesterday to me. You said, I don't know that he does the press conference after the game if he loses. I don't know what will happen. We'll just kind of wait and see. That game will kick off at 11 o'clock just here in a couple hours. Let's run down the SEC slate today. Kent State will be at Georgia. Good Lord. Now that may do a running clock in the second half there. Bowling Green at Mississippi State. Shouldn't be a problem for the Pirate and his group. Florida and Tennessee, that game at 2:30. Tennessee has been licking their chops for this one. Florida doesn't look very good. They barely squeaked by South Florida last week. I think Tennessee's ripe for whipping Florida up there in Knoxville.
We'll know a lot more about Tennessee today. Offensively, they seem to have things turned in a positive direction that can make them competitive in the SEC overall. Right. But you're going to need to see a little bit more today, and that matchup, along with a lot of others, hasn't gone Tennessee's way.
No, Tulsa at Ole Miss. Hey, look, Ole Miss, number 16, look pretty strong right now. I know they went over and beat a bad Georgia Tech team, but still went over there and shut them out. Northern Illinois at Kentucky. Kentucky just keeps going. They're number 8 in the country. Arkansas and Texas A&M at 6 o'clock tonight. On ESPN, Texas A&M's a 2-point favorite in that game. I don't know about
just a home matchup.
That's right.
Arkansas, they're okay.
They're not world beaters. They're not good against the pass.
They got a good quarterback. They run the football. They're much better than they've been, but they're not very good defensively, and that's just not going to bode well for you.
No, Vanderbilt at Alabama. We talked about that earlier. New Mexico will travel to LSU. No problem there. And then Charlotte at South Carolina, which won't be a problem for the Gamecocks today. They'll need that after the bludgeoning they took last week at the hands of Georgia. So not a very impressive SEC slate. But a couple games of note that you'll want to watch, that A&M Arkansas and that Florida-Tennessee game for sure. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Saturday Sports Countdown. Again, want to thank everybody for commenting away throughout the show and all of our phone calls out there. We'll be back with you next Saturday for another edition of this program. For Randy Lee, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. Well, see you next time.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat in 2 sides or a meat in 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck cheeseburger basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Why is Sarah Automotive Group on Highway 280 in Sylacauga the place for the best deals on your new ride? 3 compelling reasons. 1. With 3 full new car dealers on one lot, you get the best in comparison and incentives on Fords, Hondas, and Nissans. Unmatched selection. 2. Sarah pays over market value for your trade to maintain East Central Alabama's best pre-owned vehicle selection and sales. And 3. The Sarah Automotive price won't be beat and delivers lower payments and huge value on your next buy. Shop online or on Highway 280 in Sylacauga. Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.